So I'm delighted to be back virtually with the Burnaby Writers Society. And in honor of BC and the last reading I did at Deer Lake, I'm going to be reading some poems from artists, especially Emily Carr. And these poems, there are three. There's one Frida Kahlo, and there's one Emily Carr, and there's one from George O'Keeffe, or several from George O'Keeffe. And they were from an exhibition at McMichael's Gallery, which I just adored, which went into all three painters representing Mexico, the States, and Canada. And they are in this book, Color Fielding, and please buy it. And they'll also, I wrote an article about them for saging.ca, which is a lovely magazine for aging gracefully from Kelowna. So there will be an article in the June 21st issue of Saging about this particular sequence. And I'd like you to imagine a portrait, which I cannot find anymore, but it was Emily in front of a mountain looking like a mountain. Massif. In Emily Carr's one self-portrait, broad brush strokes obliterate boundary to fling her bosom across the canvas like horizontal wheat sheaves, caring not a fig for convention. Flesh streaks off edge outside all frames. Wild woman of the woods in a village of cat's eyes. She nags, snarling weather into domestic peace. Pets the wind, sweeps cloud down streaming cedar trunk. In the paintings around her, implacable mountains rise and sit, arms folded, awaiting their turn. Firm hands on knees, another hill down the hall squares off discourse. The mountain inside recognizes the other out there. And the next series of poems are for Frida, and they're really fun to read because she's so angry. 3 for Frida on exhibit. Watch me tear this painting. Watch me rip it up or paint another, better or worse. It matters from my eyes' eye. Body parts. Body parts to open the red sea of despond in open pits of roiling wicked pigment. Watch me die. Wrecked without ruin, with no easy room to maneuver on thin bed rack, her mind stretches raw skin to easel. Palette splashed in fury, cast to contain a febrile agility, might avoid the looming void she so fervently defies. Moods thicken, tint hardens to stone. Medusa glints solidified, just as snared as any light caught in her eye. Tentacles springing from her head glitter seduction. Formal ribbons of snakes coil like a Spanish infanta's dress by Velázquez. Wild vein through white leaves, rough. A flat surface of sheer rock, powdered to outlast flesh. Frida draws her hair as whip lacerating her throat. Such vegetation growing long twists to vengeance when short. Linked chain around her neck, cadena, monkey's paw, protective. Then jackal's inquisitively pointed ears. No, just a black dog gone murky when eyes swim sea green, spark dashed with pain, or pills swallowed to kill pain. Above her ear, an amorphous, androgynous couple floats, turning an amniotic thought cloud. What nostrum must be murmured over and over, tumbling through such froth. She, he, we, él, ella, nosotros, confessions of mute rage. Flicker phosphorescent over Sargasso's obsessed sea. Her heart opens like a sacred heart of Jesus to reveal Diego Rivera. Her third eye, a bronze medallion of Maria, gleams so curiously blind to its own reflection before that ongoing inquisition of other eyes, eyes she sought so long. Just try to forget me now. I dare you, double dare. Already my art has outlived all you onlookers of this ostensible life. I really love the fury in that poem. But as I was reading it, I was at Detroit Scarab Club where she and Diego Rivera did all kinds of murals. And as I looked up, I saw something, and this is the poem. So you can imagine me just saying, Diego Rivera. And this poem ensued. At the Scarab Club. Invited to Detroit's Venerable Scarab Club, I end my reading with On Exhibit. Just as I come to the line where Frida cries, Diego Rivera, I glance up. There, on the great wooden beam above my head, is written in what looks like chalk or white paint, Rivera's signature. Thinking I must be hallucinating, I point out the line to the audience for confirmation. No one else sees it. But thanking us, our host tells the story of the rafter's signature. Yes, it's Diego's. He and Frida would often frequent the Scarab Club in the years they lived in Detroit when Diego was painting his murals. And now the couple zoom back, collaborating in a synchronous spirit of poetry and paint to empower the flash of connection. Frida, live. And the last poem for Frida. Iconography con monos, monkeys. The monkey on her shoulder peers at the viewer it knows is there with a complex expression, warily curious. An animal guardian, her furred sister. Frida trusts those other older eyes. So unlike the other sister, she portrayed the one who betrayed her with Diego. In a favorite autorretrato, 4 monkeys surround Frida. 2 stare out from vivid foliage that seems to hang from her ears, lush jewelry. Behind her, a crane flower, bird of paradise, beak, ready to squawk. juts alarm. The monkeys in front place protective paws upon her heart, on a wooden, woven red circle, heart's outer emblem. As in medieval art, they hone our eye along a sure path home. The poems that I am passing over are just superb, but you'll have to get the book to read them. This is one for O'Keeffe. Canvassing landscape. Taut skin stretched across cheeks. O'Keeffe's old bones talk louder than living animals, she remarks. She collects hollows from the hills of oceanic desert to enter endless cerulean sky through the certain two dimensions of paint. Then I'm going to go back to earlier pieces, both earlier in the book and earlier in my life. And this poem translation has absolutely gorgeous video to go along with it by Dennis Siren. Translation. I used to prime my father's canvases by painting them white with gesso, a binder mixed with chalk and gypsum, preparing each surface for his acrylics, for color saturation from pure primaries and their complement down to muted neutral hue. I still wait with paper's white space till words arise, images in words, watching them come into form, specific entities with their own character and personality, ready to burst off the page into life. I noticed that as I'm reading, and I'm kind of selecting as I go, that the image that dominates this idea of lifting off the page. When dignitaries visit, several elderly painters from the group of 7 came to my parents' parties. Dad, a practical joker, had me at 10 serve them cocktails, and for nibblies, chocolate-covered grasshoppers. Identity undisclosed until my tray was empty. No one asked for seconds, but the rush was on to fill those empty glasses in a flurry of coughs I fear would kill them. In the 50s, they'd be in their 70s, ancient and frail as crickets. I should have said that my father was a painter, so I grew up in London in the milieu of the 60s, which was very exciting because London was basically a white bread garrison town until the art scene exploded. Artist in the hinterland. Just one exotic restaurant in town. Vito's on Clarence serves pizza. Our family enters for a celebratory meal. Greg Kerno is just leaving. As he passes the unfinished plate, another customer left, he scoops up the extra slices and exits grinning. Greg's influence on me begins here. What an artist can get away with in flaunting freedom from convention. No need to go further than the local in celebrating the regional in art, so Greg, our Lord of Misrule, proclaims. What Greg did was uh, organized the first Canadian happening in, I was 17, so it was 1960, February 1962, I think. Picture the sedate gallery behind steel moderne pillars, establishment central. There's Greg Curnow at the helm. He is wearing that old orange sweater frayed at the elbows. Like a head gander, he leads a flock of artists along boards he has scattered on the floor. Michael Snow and Joyce Wheeland, celebrities imported from Toronto for the event, follow meekly as if walking the plank, single file. The gallery curator, Claire Weiss, an imposing and kindly fixture upholding convention, stands aside, appalled. His arms must have been akimbo, but I imagine them flapping in silent alarm, his orderly milieu in strewn shambles. Oh, we know about the beatniks here in London. We've read Camus, and we still look elsewhere for our inspiration. So I'm sporting black coal eyeliner and black leotards to support the cause of artistic freedom and poetic license. No more Saturday morning cleanup for me. I'm off duty now and on display as keen partisan for the new, the wildly disproportionate, ever so inappropriate future we're sure we shall soon inhabit back to back. Black, not to be eschewed. The layout of exhibition, a new mode of seeing, of being, embracing the 60s, February 1962. Alongside Greg Curnow, the other instigator of interesting reform or invention was Jack Chambers. After Velázquez, Jack Chambers epitomized romance. Yes, to those Byronic flashing eyes, his noble Roman profile and Castilian lisp, acquired while living in Spain. Abroad. Home again, he'd perch by my father's easel to talk philosophy, existentialism, on being and essence, you know. I did not know, but basked in his aura since I was allowed to sit in, enthralled by words, the man, a life lived outside our little London in his much wider world. So cosmopolitan. Jack elegantly, urbanely spoke theory into his art, inventing new terms for what needed expression. Perceptual realism to perceptualism, their meaning lived out in his work. Suppose Jack drew fine charcoal portraits at Art Mart's November meet, just $5 for a good cause. Assuming the role of a poet, I gazed off to unfocused distance and poetic dimensions far from the mundane. Thus he drew me, chin thrust in the foreground perspective of vein 16. My father attempted correcting my chin at its angle of incidence, smearing the charcoal to smudge. But he only succeeded in blurring Jack's outline. Annoyed, he toss the ruin drawing into the trash. Thus I lost my only chance to be so immortalized by this universal painter until I resurrect a single scrap of recall in this page for Jack. And the last poem I'll read is called Medium Cool. Medium is cool, unmoved by pathetic fallacy, unaffected by storm or tantrum of synesthetic explosion. Medium just sits here, typing, while distinctly three voices condescend to speak, not through medium exactly, but at me. Diem carpa. Pain chips, lift and holler, stalwart, terse or fervent, all three distinctly fierce in their medium pain. Thank you.